To untie these 12 knots is to awaken a power that was always within, yet slumbered in silence, imprisoned within the sacred fibers of the body. Invisible chains they have been, long restricting energy, voice, and creativity. Within each knot, memories have been sealed, fears, unspoken emotions, long forgotten by the mind, but never by the body. And what if these aches, tensions, and blocks that are carried are not mere accidents, but the hidden language of the soul, quietly pleading for liberation? Remain until the end of this video, and the path shall be revealed. The path to loosen the 12 ancient knots that have held back your energy, your voice, and your divine creative force, and thus awaken the most free and authentic version of your being. If something within you is stirred by this message, let the ritual begin. Subscribe, activate the sacred bell, and share this transmission *** with another who too must release, heal, and feel once more. Unseen by many, yet ever present, these blocks exist, daily shaping the breath, the walk, the word spoken or suppressed. As though life were being lived trapped in a past that cannot be named, repeating patterns unknown and unclaimed. No technique, however modern, will fully work. If these knots remain in place, all shall remain stagnant. From the base of the spine to the jaw, a hidden map lies within. An energetic map, where every sealed point is but a closed gate. And as long as these gates remain shut, the vibration of your being remains dimmed, and with it, the full reach of your creative power. What is felt in the body is not by chance. Every pain, every tension, every silence, they hold origin. And in this sacred journey, the 12 knots shall be revealed, where they dwell, why they bind, and how they may be set free. This is no surface work, but the unveiling of the full code to restore body, mind, and vital vibration. These knots, they are not mere tension of muscle. They are markings etched deep within, emotional scars the body was taught to bear. When creativity no longer flows, when exhaustion refuses to fade, when joy stands still, it is in these forgotten knots that the root lies hidden. In the Hermetic vision, when the inner rhythm is disturbed, the outer world becomes repetitive and lifeless. Science too has spoken. The fascia, the ancient web encasing your muscles, stores tension. Breath becomes shallow. The nervous system remains trapped in perpetual alert. But when ancestral wisdom is woven with the knowledge of modern neurophysiology, a sacred tool is born, the power to reprogram the body as a conscious vibrational field. To witness this entire video is to begin the sacred remembrance. To not only recognize these knots, but to understand their activation, and the ritual through which they may be unraveled. For to release them is not merely a physical relief, it is an inner reconstruction. Each knot undone returns a forgotten piece of you, an idea, a voice, a strength long waiting to awake. The body has always been a temple, and every civilization bold enough to look within discovered a profound truth. Matter is but the surface. In ancient Egypt, the body was seen as a sacred web of portals, where the flow of energy determined the clarity of thought and the vitality of being. Hermes Trismegistus spoke of the body as a mirror of the cosmos, governed by the eternal laws of rhythm and vibration. When a part of the body becomes blocked, the entire system distorts. The alchemists and sages of both East and West knew this. Every physical block is a symbol, an emotional or spiritual cycle left incomplete. A suppressed impulse, an unprocessed emotion, a fear, sealed and buried. Modern science now echoes this ancient knowing. Trauma, it has been found, is etched not in memory, but in posture, in breath, in muscular tension. It is not a story we remember. It is a reaction we embody. The body remembers what the mind has long forgotten. So discovered minds like Stephen Porges, father of the polyvagal theory, or Bessel van der Kolk, who showed how trauma resides in the body itself. Robert Schleep and Carla Stecco proved that fascia, the connective tissue that wraps our muscles, stores tension like living scars. And from the realm of epigenetics, Bruce Lipton revealed that trauma may even be inherited across generations. And when all these truths are woven into one tapestry, the message becomes clear. Each knot is an interruption of the vital flow. To release it is to return the body to its sacred dance, its voice, its creative force. Now, Imagine each knot as a dormant portal, a defense code once sealed to protect you. But over time, that protection turned to prison. The map we are about to traverse extends from the sacrum to the jaw, through 12 sacred points, each holding a story, each hiding a key. The first portal, the coccyx and sacrum. Here dwells the primal fear, the instinct for survival. When this portal is blocked, the lower back feels heavy, movement feels sluggish, and the body loses its vital momentum. The key. Gentle tremors and slow, conscious breath, a return to instinct, to grounding. The second portal, the pelvic floor, the knot of control. This is where we hold what we fear the most to release. Here, pendular contraction and release, accompanied by long, sighing exhalations, begins the unraveling. A soft surrender, and the prison begins to crack. The third portal, the psoas, guardian of ancestral fear. When tense, it brings anxiety, deep fatigue, and a disconnection from life. To free it is to restore inner stability. Through gentle micro-movements and soft stretches, the guardian begins to loosen its grip. The fourth portal, the diaphragm, the invisible roof of your lungs. When blocked, breathing becomes shallow, limited. Reclaim the three-dimensional breath. Feel the air expand into the abdomen, ribs, and chest. Let breath become a prayer of presence. The fifth portal, the solar plexus, where emotion turns to armor. This is where energy tightens into knots of worry and doubt. With gentle touch and vocal sound, the block can be transmuted into active presence, from frozen emotion to embodied power. The sixth portal, the sternum, the shielded heart. Here lies the emotional armor that has long protected your tenderness. Touch it, breathe into it, and feel the slow melting of old defenses. The heart is waiting to speak. The seventh portal, the thoracic outlet, the passage of voice and expression. When tense, it chokes your ability to express. Free it with shoulder rolls, soft massages around the neck and collarbone. Let the current of your voice return to its riverbed. The eighth portal, the throat, repressed speech. This is where truth was swallowed. Tiny movements of the hyoid bone, combined with low humming, begin to open the sacred channel of your authentic voice. The ninth portal, the larynx, the vocal gate. Use inverted ujjayi breath to open this constricted space, bringing freedom to your throat and expression. Let your voice rise, not from performance, but from essence. The 10th portal, the jaw, home of the unspoken. Here, silence becomes tension, locked behind clenched teeth. Circular movements, conscious yawns, tongue release, all are keys to recover clarity and truth. The 11th portal, the tongue, where mental anxiety hides. Slide the tongue along the roof of the mouth. Gently massage the floor beneath it. Rediscover the forgotten inner silence that lives behind the noise. And finally, the 12th portal, the occipital union and the vagus nerve, the sentinel of the system. To awaken, it is to reset your entire energetic field. Deep humming, soft gaze, stillness, these are the ancient keys to activate your nervous system's sacred equilibrium. To walk this map is not merely to release muscles. It is to release your story. With every knot undone, a forgotten part of your being is returned. It is the body whispering, "I am ready to create again." Like Marin, who once felt her body no longer responded. There was no pain, only a stillness that quietly crept upward. Until one day, she lay on the ground, breathing, listening. That was how her journey began. Each exhale released a memory. Each yawn brought clarity. And she understood. Her body was not just flesh. It was a sacred map. And now that you too have walked this path, remember, the true power of this process lies not only in knowing where the knots are, but in daring to face them. Because, let's be honest, how many times have we silenced our feelings, fearing we'd seem weak? How many times have we buried our story, our emotions, our tears, believing that silence would somehow heal us? But healing is not hiding. Healing is remembering, releasing, reclaiming. The truth is, what remains unnamed, what isn't looked at with honesty, eventually rots in the soul. The knots of the past don't disappear on their own. They hide, yes, but they keep tightening. They keep poisoning our thoughts, our decisions, our relationships. And many times, we don't even realize we're still acting from an unhealed wound, from an untold story, from a pain left unresolved. That's why today I want to invite you to go beyond the theory. To let go of the idea that this is a beautiful, romantic process. It's not. Healing hurts. It's uncomfortable. It's lonely sometimes. But it is profoundly liberating. Imagine for a moment that your soul is like a house. And each knot, each unresolved wound, is a locked room. Some haven't been opened in years. Some are filled with broken things, forgotten and dusty. Others are so full of memories that we'd rather not even go near them. But as long as those doors remain closed, the house will never be whole. It will never feel like a peaceful home. To untie those knots is to go room by room. Turn on the light. Open the windows. Shake off the dust. Cry if you need to. Ask for forgiveness. Forgive yourself. And then, breathe. Because every knot you release returns to you a piece of yourself you had lost. And I know it can be scary. That's normal. Fear is a sign that you're about to break through something old. But I want you to remember this. You're not alone. All of us, absolutely all of us, carry knots. No one is exempt. Not the strongest. Not the most spiritual. Not the ones who seem to have it all figured out. And I want you to remember something else. Healing does not mean erasing the past. It doesn't mean forgetting. It means looking at that wound, and it no longer hurts. It means remembering without crying. It means that part of your story no longer has power over you. And that is freedom. Now, you might be asking yourself, where do I start? And the answer is simple, though not easy. Start with the knot that hurts the most. Start with that thought that haunts you before you fall asleep. That memory that makes you uncomfortable every time it's brought up. That conversation you've been avoiding for years. Start there. Because when you dare to face what hurts the most, everything else begins to realign. And you don't have to do it all in one day. You're not running a race. You're not competing with anyone. This is a personal journey. An intimate one. A sacred one. Every step counts. Every tear you release is a liberation. Every word you allow yourself to say out loud is a victory. Every forgiveness you offer is an act of love toward yourself. The truth is, what isn't named, what isn't looked at with honesty, ends up rotting in the soul. The knots of the past don't just disappear. They hide, yes, but they keep tightening. They keep contaminating our thoughts, our decisions, our relationships. And many times, we don't even realize we're still acting from an unhealed wound, from an untold story, from a pain left unresolved. That's why today I want to invite you to go beyond the theory. To let go of the idea that healing is a beautiful, romantic process. It's not. Healing hurts. It's uncomfortable. It's lonely sometimes. But it is deeply liberating. Imagine for a moment that your soul is like a house. And every knot, every unresolved wound, is a locked room. Some haven't been opened in years. Some are full of broken, dirty, forgotten things. Others are so filled with memories that we avoid them completely. But as long as those doors remain closed, the house will never be complete. It will never be a peaceful home. Untying those knots means going room by room, turning on the light, opening the windows, dusting off the pain, crying if you need to, asking for forgiveness, forgiving yourself, and then breathing. Because every knot you let go of returns a piece of yourself that had been lost. And I know it can be scary. That's normal. Fear is a sign that you're about to break through something old. But I want you to remember this. You are not alone. All of us carry knots. No one is exempt. Not the strongest. Not the most spiritual. Not even those who seem to have it all figured out. And remember this too. Healing. So yes, Untying these knots is an act of courage. But it is also an act of love. Love for your story. Love for your wounds. Love for who you are and for who you are meant to become. And I promise you, it's worth it. It won't be easy. It won't be fast. But it will be real. And one day, when you look back and see how far you've come, you'll feel proud. Because you chose not to stay in the pain. You chose to transform it. You chose to live. And if you've made it this far, if you've listened all the way to this point, it's because something inside you is already awakening. Don't ignore it. Don't silence it. Give it space. Give it a voice. And begin to walk. Because you deserve to live with a light soul. I deserve to live with a light soul. We all do. And now, before I go, I want to ask you something very special. If this message touched your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who also needs to hear this. You never know the impact a word, a voice, a shared story can have. Thank you for being here. Thank you for opening your soul. And remember, untying the knots of the soul doesn't make you weak. It makes you free. I'll see you in the next video.